roll.
On the airwaves, there's a story told from the fields of Nicaragua where the leaves grow bold. Nick Perdomo lighting up the night on Leaf and Ash. What a sight! Leaf and Ash, episode 29, with Nick Perdomo talking singer so fine.
There you go. That was specially made just for you, Mr. Perdomo.
Thank you. That's unbelievable.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Leaf and Ash podcast. I'm your host, Panda, and along, as always, are my three compadres, and of course, the man of the hour. We'll get to him in just a second. On the top right, guys, we got the cigar Don. What's going on, Donnie boy?
What's happening, everybody? Happy Wednesday.
Happy hump day, right?
Yep.
On the bottom left, we got the big dog, the silverback. What's going on, PC?
Man, what's going on? Hump day, and welcome to our distinguished guest. You know what I mean?
Right, absolutely. And as always, you know, the wizard behind the curtain, the one-finger pecker sensation, my brother from another mother, the bottom right, JJ, a.k.a. the Cigar Mutt. What's going on, Mutt?
What's up, you beautiful people? And thank you, Nick, for being here. It's a real honor.
Yes, sir.
My honor. Thank you guys for having me.
As you guys can see, we have the man of the hour, our special guest this evening, Mr. Nick Perdomo. Mr. Perdomo, thank you once again for taking the time in your schedule.
You know, thank you for having me. Call me Nick, please. My dad was Mr. Perdomo. I'm Nick.
We appreciate that. So, before we start asking the questions, what is everyone smoking? What are you smoking tonight, Nick?
I'm smoking the Perdomo 30th anniversary Sungrown right now.
Okay. And Donnie boy?
So I am smoking the Garofalo La Familia. And yeah, we'll get a little bit into that a little later. But
absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm also drinking some Basil Hayden toast.
Nice. Yeah, leave that alone now. Mo, what are you smoking?
I'm smoking that 10th anniversary champagne torpedo.
Okay. And silverback.
Man, I'm smoking the 30th anniversary torpedo Maduro. Man, it's one of my favorites.
And I'm smoking the 20th. Well, that being said, Nick, you know, those I can't figure out anyone that doesn't know you or your company. You know, you guys have made it in the industry to definitely be known in the industry. How did you guys how did you get started into the industry?
Well, believe it or not, after I got out of the military, I started out of my garage. And my starts were meager, to say the least. But I just kept working through it and cutting the corner a little bit. In 1994, I had sold 1 million cigars, and that was talking over 30 years ago. And my dad always said, and I was telling you guys earlier, that you live in the greatest country in the world. If you work hard, you can take anything you want. My father came from Cuba with nothing, and it was a great example of me. He was a really hard worker and showed me a lot. So I was blessed that I had that's where I got my work ethic, really, from my parents. They worked really hard and saw the opportunities that we have here living in such a great country.
And it seems that you kind of spanned it into different regions because your factory is in Nicaragua, correct?
Yes.
And can you tell us a little bit about your factory in Nicaragua?
Yeah, we started in 1994. We actually started out of a police barracks. It was about 800 square feet. And we would wake up the police officers in the morning when they started at 6 o'clock in the morning. They would hear the chivetas, and they'd sleep all night. There's not much going on at night. And then we just kept building. I started there with 5 cigar rollers, and in the latter part of 1998, we built the big factory that we have today, and the townspeople would call it El Monstro, and at the time it was a 90,000 square foot facility, which was quite large. And today we're on 17 acres. We got over 1.7 million square feet. We got over 6,000 employees, and we're completely vertically integrated, from a genetics department to a meteorological department, full growing operation. growing over 2,100 acres. We have a box facility, and we're completely vertical. We even make our own staples, our own cellophane tubes. I just come to realize that if you do things yourself, you do them better. And we've been really blessed. We've been in Nicaragua a little over 30 years, and things have worked out really good for us. And we've grown the brand from a small, meager start to really running some production. Cigar Aficionado just came out with the best-selling cigars and the hottest cigars. We were in the top 3 and 4 in every category, so I'm really proud of that. I never in my life would I imagine we'd be anywhere where we are today, and it's been a blessing. And I got to thank everybody out there and all our consumers and our friends and my family especially, who supported me from day one.
Absolutely. I want to talk a little bit more in regards to the fact that, because before we got on, we had talked about that you guys do tours. You want to kind of elaborate a little bit more in regards to, because we have plans to go, but unfortunately certain things can't kind of enter. Our plan was to go in January, because it seems to be that'd be the best time to go, because everything's starting, the plucking, the seeding, the fermenting, all that. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, well, we've been doing tours for the last 24 years. We do them in January, February, and March. And a lot of guys on this podcast have probably been on the trip. We've had close to 10,000 people since the inception go on the trip. Very educational. It's you really learn everything because we're vertically integrated. We're not going to a beach and spending a day. We're there all 3 days in the facilities, from the farms to the sorting and selecting, curing, fermentation. We kind of involve the consumers and the retailers on the tour too. They join our tasting panel. They get to see really a lot of the intricacies about cigar manufacturing, and we get to show them all. And there's 3,054 steps to make one of our cigars because of vertical integration. We literally show you in 72 hours every single step visually, and people really love it, and I love doing it. Arthur Kemper, our VP, loves doing it. We're excited this year. We're bringing our national sales meeting. We're bringing all our salesmen down to Nicaragua on January 18th, and after the sales meeting, I'll stay in Nicaragua for several weeks and conducting tours along with our Vice President, Arthur Kemper. So excited. Our planning season this year was a little late because of we've had a lot of rain in the month of October, November, which we normally don't get. So a little bit behind, but we're moving pretty good. Our guys do a great job, and the people who are coming on the tour at the end of January through March are going to see a lot of great things this year. And we have a new cigar coming out, and the people that go on the tour are actually going to be able to smoke it. So that's exciting for us and exciting for them. So yeah, so that's worth the price of admission just there. So they're actually going to be able to taste it and see the evolution. And when the cigar comes out in May, they'll see how that cigar evolves and changes. So it's something very unique that we're doing this year. And they're going to be able to see the product that nobody will see till the summer. And the first launch will be May 8th. It'll be a Two Guys Smoke Shop in all 3 stores in the New Hampshire area. We did that last year, and it was huge. And yeah, we're really excited. We had a great year, 2024. We still got a big month coming up right now that we're trying to hit a record, and our sales guys are doing a great job, and we're really digging. And even with this is the first year ever that the cigar industry has been quite flat or down in a lot of cases. But I think because of our price points and our renowned quality, we've been able to stay up, and we've grown double digits, and I'm proud of my guys. It's been a lot of work, not only my guys here in the United States, but also our team in Nicaragua.
Another thing that a lot of people don't know is that, part of that tour, because, I had Billy, send us the information and stuff like that. And it basically, it is a one-stop shop, right? You guys have a hotel out there that accommodates your guests and that's able to keep us, local, to keep us somewhat safe or whatever that may be. But, there's a lot of things that a lot of people don't offer that you guys are offering. Those who want to know the information, I have the information. Just, send me a link, whatever, and I'll send you the information as well, But, I want to talk about also the one thing that I really, truly, truly love about your brand. And you guys have taken it somewhat to the next level, right? And I've always said it, I think it's underrated. And that is your bands, okay? I think that the bands that you guys have created it's such a smart marketing tool because when anyone goes into any humidor, right, and as your eyes scan, because most people, most consumers shop with their eyes, right? You have mastered the art because now you guys have the overflap over the panel that tells you what's in it, what your ratings were, etc. But that foil that just your eyes just gravitate to. I mean, how did you guys come about that? Where do you guys is that something that you guys make? Where do you guys go about getting that? Because that's a great marketing tool.
Well, we work interior with just our team. A lot of it has to do with Arthur Kemper, our vice president. We have a gentleman out of Lakeland, Joel, who does a phenomenal job, who helps us with the artwork. A young guy who we work with together, and he helps us a lot with our design work. And our bands are actually made in Holland by a company called Vrydag, and they've been in business for over 150 years, and they do a phenomenal job for us, and they've been making our bands for decades, and we think they're the best band makers in the world. It's a little expensive, but it's worth it. I've always thought that our cigars were much better than our packaging, and I wanted to level that out, and I think our team did a phenomenal job doing that, because to me, a box of cigars is special. It's not about getting a free light or a cutter. It's the work and the passion and the love that was made to make that cigar, and the countless hours that it took to make that cigar. So to us, that's what's important. I think our guys have done a great job in the merchandising. When you see the new brand that's coming out, you guys are going to flip when you see that. It's something it's never been done, and it's going to be great. And it was a project by my son, believe it or not. We actually we've been growing shade-grown tobacco in the Esteli Valley, which you normally don't do because the grounds are so rich and heavy. It produces really super thick tobacco and really powerful tobaccos for fillers. And it has a consistent wind flow that can damage the wrapper leaves. So what we did is we actually dug a beam our farm at 30 acres at 8 foot down, because there's no hard pan. The grounds there are volcanic. It's in a crater of a volcano. And so you dig black dirt from the top all the way to about 270 feet. So it's extremely fertile. It's loaded with nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus. We'll be taking our people on the tour this year into the crater of that volcano and show them that farm also this year. And it's a shade grown operation. So what we did is, because we had the farm underneath and the farm on top, the prevailing winds are from the east. We got to block all that wind. We produced really thick, lush tobacco, but very, very devoid of veins because of the cheesecloth. So the wrapper's full of flavor. It's extremely oily, the wrappers, yet it's not coarse. And my son, I've been growing this tobacco for quite a few years, about 11 years, and my son said, I want to make a cigar for you. And I said, for what? And he said, for your 60th birthday. And I said, honestly, Nicholas, nobody gives a shit about my 60th birthday. And my son said, well, Dad, I do. And as fathers, and a lot of you guys are fathers, when your son says something like that to you, it's quite touching. And I said, let's do it. And this is a completely different cigar from different regions that we grow tobacco from, but these are regions that not only grow tobacco, but these are lot numbers we've never actually used to make our cigars. So a very different cigar, extremely rich. It's wonderful, and I think you guys are going to love it. I think the market's going to love it. We're going to restrict it. We want to keep all our retailers in in-stock position. I see Brian Waters here from Open Door Cigars in Fayetteville, Arkansas is on here. He'll be one of the accounts that'll have it. We're only going to open up 100 cigar stores. And if you can envision, it's less than 1% of our accounts. We have over 5,000 cigar stores that carry our brands in North America.
Wow.
So, but those cigar stores that have them will be able to always keep an in-stock position. What I don't think the consumer likes is when he smokes something, he loves it, and then they're always on back order, out of stock. We've tried to do a really good job making sure that we continue keeping cigars in stock for the people. So it's we're really happy about that. And a big hello to everybody who's checking, and I see people writing and everything. Thanks for checking, and these guys do a great job here.
I mean,
we appreciate that.
Absolutely, we appreciate you guys joining us.
Yes.
Obviously it's a family business, right? I mean, what does it mean to you to be able to do this journey? Obviously you started way before your son was around, or per se that he was when he's little. Now that he's grown up, now he's truly partaking. Well, I mean, you as a father, because just like you said, I'm a very proud father. You know what I mean? And my son's younger. My son's gonna be 18 this year. At the end of the year, and I can't wait till he gets to that point that I could really start doing some grown up big boy stuff. You know what I mean? So as a father in the industry, having this family business, what does that mean to you?
Well, it's special, and my, my brother Billy works for the company. My mother's 92 years old, still comes to the office at least 2 to 3 times a week. My father, worked for the business till he passed away. My uncle. I mean, really, I have a big family. And in reality, all the workers that I have are really like a line extension of my family. The average worker has been with me for over 21 years. So I've been blessed to have such a great team. And I think that's the secret of our consistency, is having a great workforce. People have come to our factory decades ago and go, my God, I still see the same people, at your factory. And now we're going into second, and we're actually eventually we're going into third generational workforces that are coming in from families that are working for our company. So yeah, I'm proud of that. We have several thousand employees too to mark on that. And we've had over 659 retirements. I've been proud to have gone to every one of them. And so I feel these workers are part of my family too, believe it or not. They all have their problems, whether it be health issues and so on. And I take them personally because you fall in love with your workers in a lot of instances. There's nothing wrong with that either. A lot of people say, oh, you got to keep an arm's distance. I like to keep a hug distance with my workforce, and I'm proud of it.
Nice.
That's cool. That's really cool.
I kind of want to go back just a little bit in regards to the new blend, the new cigar. Would you say that it's going to be probably one of your strongest cigars?
I would say it's going to be extremely flavorful. The secret to Nicaragua is about flavor, right? So strength and flavor are two different animals. And the way you tame down roughness in some instances with strength for that matter is proper fermentation and aging. And when you're growing your own tobacco and you're developing your own seed strains, you know how to cure your tobacco well. You know how to ferment your tobacco. Nicaragua's a tobacco you really have to tame it because it's very rich, it's thick, it's the most powerful tobaccos in the world, bar none. That's why people love them. And if you age those tobaccos and you have proper fermentation, you just take it low and slow like barbecue, and you take your time with it, there's nothing in the world like it. And I think that's been really kind of our secret, where we just have great people that work for us, and whether it be in our curing or fermentation, sorting, selecting, and aging departments. And we do everything the right way. My dad always said it takes 10 years to get a customer, 3 seconds to lose one. And we're very selective on whether it be any of our fillers, binders, and wrappers, or our blends, to make sure those cigars are perfect for our consumer base. And I think that's how we built our business. I always say that if you have a quality product, you're always going to get quantity, and that served me well. And I really want to make my customers happy, and I think they deserve that. I'm picky; they should be picky too.
I think you guys are doing it right, because you guys are right in the middle price point thing, right? In your price point, which to me, I think is great for the average Joe, your blue collar worker that's going to be able to afford a cigar, good quality cigar, and be able to enjoy that cigar. I know I've been burning years. I know these guys are, they've been at the bits here. But I have a question. I have one last question, then I'll pass it on to the next. I wore this specific color only because the last time I saw you was at a special event, and it was at Burn One, but it used to be called Smoking, if you recall. It was a charity event, and you had bought your Corvette, and it was somewhat this color. Do you still have that Corvette?
I just sold it to one of my guys. I just got the new Z06, so it's like a candy apple red color, so it's a little darker.
Okay.
And I'm hoping to get the new ZR1 here when it comes out in 6 months. So
Nice.
I always dreamed about owning a Corvette. I always loved it since I was a little boy, and thank God I was able to afford one. I never thought in my life I'd be able to get one. So yeah, I really enjoy the Corvette. I think it's just America's icon. It's the most beautiful car, and I enjoy them.
Nice. All right. Well, I'm gonna pass the mic over to JJ. Go ahead, JJ. What you got for Nick?
Well, first of all, again, it's an absolute honor to have you here. A little shaken up, but I think I'll work the nerves in. Your business, there's been challenges along the way. How have you faced them challenges and overcame them challenges?
I think the biggest thing that I have a strong belief in God, and I think my faith is pretty powerful. I also think that I have a great support system, my team, my family, and we all, one of the great things, JJ, is, it's like a tug of war game. If everybody's pulling the same way and they're in unison, you usually win. And I've been blessed to have just a phenomenal workforce and great sales team, great in-house team, great manufacturing teams and everything. And being vertically integrated has been really the secret to our success, and making sure everything we do as much as perfect as possible. We always say that perfection is the gold and excellence is merely tolerated. That's kind of our motto at the company. And we're really anal about that because we really do believe that our consumers deserve the best. We have the best price points in the industry. We could charge double or triple, but my dad always said hogs get slaughtered. And I'm a big believer in that. And we have a really diverse group of cigar lovers that are part of the Perdomo Army, from the blue collar guys that you had talked about earlier, all the way to guys that'll blow you away, where they're I was just talking to Bob Lutz, who used to be the president of General Motors, and I'm a big Perdomo guy, and he can afford anything he wants, but he buys lot 23, and he said you can raise the price to 20. I smoke cigars $20, not nearly as good as that cigar. I don't care how much it costs. It's what I like. So that's what makes me happy. I think we give people a phenomenal cigar at a great price point that's very fair. But at the same token, what's great about it is the cigars are of utmost quality, and that's what I care about. And quality is everything to us.
Absolutely. And it shows in your cigars. I mean,
Thank you.
They always taste great. They always burn great. And I know I'm a huge fan. We all are.
Well, the cigar you're smoking, Perdomo Reserve Champagne, someone asked me how good that sells. If you guys know how much college tuition is, that cigar helped pay all the college tuitions for my children. So it's been a big seller for us.
Yeah, my lounge actually gave me that cigar to smoke for this podcast.
Very nice.
Oh yeah. And what's your philosophy when it comes to blending and selecting your tobaccos?
Well, one of the things that we do that are a little different than most people is most people take tobaccos, for example, from the Esteli Valley and say, I'm going to use sick or light tobacco from Esteli, and I'm going to make that part of the blend because I'm looking for some little earthy and maybe pump it up with strength with different types of tobacco, maybe from the Condega Valley. But we don't do that. We use lot numbers. So what we do is we work with drone research, and we actually take the components of the ground and with soil analysis, and we do it topically. We work with Google, and what that does is that'll bring us down to the exact parts per million of what that tobacco needs, whether it be nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, any microelements like boron and copper and so on. And those tobaccos are different. We have one farm that has 67 different fertilizations. Some of the lots need none. So, for example, say you're 5 feet away from me, you're by a riverbed. Well, those grounds are going to be a little more loamy because you have water intrusion underneath. Those tobaccos are not going to taste the same. So what we do is when we pick a tobacco that we like, let's say it's going to be salt, to make it easier in layman's terms for the viewers out there, we would use, let's say, Seco from Esteli, but it's going to be from lot 114. That's the consistency in the blend. You ever smoke a cigar and you love it, and you smoke the next one, maybe from the same box, and it tastes different? Mm-hmm. That's because people use tobaccos and they work from bale to bale, and they're just using a certain tobacco from a province. But the province is not everything. It's where it was grown on that province, where the pitch was, the altitude, and so on and so on. And that's been our secret. That's why the cigar you're smoking has been a humongous seller for us for 24 years. I don't throw stuff on a wall and come up with a new brand every week. I'm not smart enough. I don't know how some of these guys have 500 blends. I mean, I got 8 of them, and it's taken me 30 years. Maybe being a high grad, maybe I'm not there yet. But we're very distinct when we come up with a blend or a dosage because we want it to be consistent. And that's why brands like Perdomo Habano, Lot 23, Perdomo Fresco, 10th anniversary, all the they've been out for decades and are consistently some of the best sought after cigars in all of America's humidors. And the retailers are not only proud to sell it, but they're confident to sell it because they know their quality and they know that if someone likes a particular flavor characteristics, I'll have it for them, but it's always consistent. And a happy customer for me at my stage of my career is the only thing I really care about. I've sold a ton of cigars in my life. You know, I'm kind of working for my grandchildren right now. I'm not going anywhere, like I told my son yesterday, but you know, I love it. And what I love most is I love, you know, consumers telling you the experiences they have. I was just at a retail store and the guy introduced me to his son and he said, look, this is the first box I bought. It was Perdomo Reserve Champagne. It wasn't even called the 10th anniversary back in those days. And he said, me and my son smoke them now, and my son's getting married in 2 weeks, and I'm buying 4 boxes of cigars for the wedding. I mean, tell me that doesn't make you feel good.
Absolutely.
When you see someone who bought a box of cigars for his son, now is smoking that brand with his son, and now his son's going to get married. And that's all about consistency. It's not about, let me come out with a new brand every week. I was just at a retail store in South Miami and a guy recognized me and I love your cigars. I've been smoking for 25 years. Anything you recommend? I said, have you ever tried Perdomo Reserve Champagne? He said, no. I said, well, that's a new brand for you. I said, that brand's been out 24 years, but you've never smoked it because everybody wants to try something new. I always say, let's try something great, no matter how long it's been in the industry. You know, I never wanted to buy the new model car sometimes because it might have glitches to it. So when you see makers that have consistent brands for decades and decades and decades, that's what I would want to smoke if I was a consumer. You know, I mean, I think that's the right answer.
Okay. And I hear you're quite the drummer.
Well, it's my hobby. You know, I like it. Now it's like a stress reliever. When I was a kid, I played a lot. My son's a really good drummer. I got 3 big drum sets in my office. If you guys ever been there, and I try not to play in the day because I don't want to bother the guys at work. I was thinking about soundproofing my office, but you know, you see these beautiful drum sets there. It's like I want to get up at lunch break and start hitting them, but a lot of times I'll do it at night when the guys are heading out and stuff. But they're really good about it at the office. They're like, "Play, don't worry about it." And I'm like, I try not to, you know, but I like it. Yeah, it's my passion, one of them.
Yeah, I have an old Tama Rockstar actually in my shop that I beat around on from time to time. And
That's a great drum set.
Yes, it is.
That's a great drum set. Sure is.
It's a turquoise with like a silver sparkle. It's pretty.
Oh yeah, sounds good. I got 3 of them right now. I got a really big one that Pearl was kind enough to make for me, and custom made masterwork set. And you can't miss, man. Wherever you swing, you're hitting something. There's so many drums on there. I even have a cigar ashtray built into a snare stand. So it's pretty cool.
Man.
That's perfect.
Good way to relieve stress and bang the heck out of some drums.
Right.
You know, and out of your portfolio, what's your favorite cigar or cigars?
That's a tough one because I blend them all. I gotta love them before I release them. They might not be totally to my flavor characteristics because some people like filet, some people like fish, some people like chicken. You know, so you got to try to hit something for the consumer because I work for you, right? So, you know, I'm very partial. Look, if I could, I'd smoke 30th anniversary and 12-year double-aged vintage, but that's not the way it works. My dad said, "Don't smoke your own stash." So I'm smoking this. I'm smoking this cigar because I'm doing a podcast. But normally, what I smoke, believe it or not, are cigars that fall, that have a chip or a crack. We're an export factory. Our best cigars are meant for everybody out here who's listening. It's for our consumers. But you know, I love the 20th anniversary. I love Perdomo Habano. I mean, I love champagne. I smoke a lot of them in the evening with coffee. I like them with a mezcal a lot of times, you know. So I go across the board. I'm really a big fan of our Maduro stuff. We're one of the few, probably the only cigar manufacturer today that actually has dark wrappers grown in Nicaragua. Some people say they're from Nicaragua. Most of them are from Mexico. These are really from Nicaragua. And it has a distinct flavor, and our team down there in the curing and fermentation process do these cigars right. And a lot of people say, why aren't every one of them jet black? And I always say, well, we don't alter them. We don't paint them. We don't do that. It's a leaf. There's going to be different shades, but we're looking for a dark chocolate color that's high on the plant, that's got that sweet flavor, because Maduro really, it means to ripen. It's sweet. People think it's stronger. It's not. It's actually a sweeter tobacco. The reason they're so brash in a lot of instances is because people steam them and they become almost like a hair follicle. They're dead and they have that brash taste. That's not what that wrapper was intended to taste like.
Right.
That wrapper was meant to have some from whether you were eating a piece of chocolate cake or you're drinking your Basil Hayden over there, where you pick up those sweetnesses where they would pair well with a good bourbon scotch, red wine, a good tequila. And that's what I think our team does a great job at.
And what I like about this champagne, it may be a Connecticut, but it's got some umph behind it for being a Connecticut.
It certainly does, but people look at the wrapper and they think, oh, because it's a light wrapper, it must be mild. I can't really make a mild cigar. I can make a very smooth cigar, and that's what people like about that cigar. You got to imagine, our grounds in Nicaragua are volcanic. We grow in the 3 richest regions in Nicaragua. So those tobaccos, the reason we have to age them so long is to tame them down, because if we don't and we use young tobacco like some people do, those cigars will blow your head off. I don't care what wrapper's on there, because you got a lot of power, a lot of mineral laden grounds, and that's what people love about Nicaragua. People will start with a light beer, but they'll eventually go to a lager or a stout. People will start with white wine, but they'll go to a big red cab, and people will start maybe with Boone's Farmer MD 2020, but they're eventually going to go to a good bourbon or a good single malt scotch. And then we knew that when we started. When I first started in the industry, everybody would tell me that our cigars were too powerful, and I would say, don't worry, people will start accepting those flavors and enjoy them. They'll actually get bored of that Dominican filler and Connecticut wrapper, that Dominican filler Indonesian binder and Connecticut wrapper, where they're just almost tinny and linear. And the big secret to our Connecticut, we have a tremendous amount of stock, and we age it in the youngest tobaccos that we're using even today. We're in 2024, soon to be 2025. I'm working on 2018, 2019 crop, and people who see our storages, they freak out with the amount of tobaccos that we have, thousands and thousands of bales of fillers, thousands bales of wrappers and binders and so on. And that's the secret to our success.
Robert said that's one of his favorite. Hey, JJ, post on Robert's the other one that he had, the ESV. That was a cigar. That was a cigar. That's a discontent. So Rob is one of he's a good friend of ours. I remember when that cigar came out. He ran into that cigar. He's in Georgia. He ran into that, and they had like a handful of them left. I'm like, you need to grab them. I said, they don't make those no more. You have to grab them. They don't make them no more. So
yeah, we retired the brand because people get mad at us sometimes. That was a crop year that we had, and we ran out of that tobacco. And I'm not one to put a cigar band and say it's the same cigar. I'm not going to do that. It's like with the first evolution of state selection was the state selection vintage 1991. We're in 2024 right now, so we don't have tobacco that's almost 30 years old or 34 years old. And people say that, I don't believe it. So people would always say, why don't you have that ESV 91 anymore? And I would say, because we ran out of the tobacco, to be quite honest with you. There's an infinite life that you can have if you have a band with a certain crop year. And what happens is, when I finish that, it's finished. You know what I mean? So it wasn't an ongoing blend where we could really zero in on the lot numbers. These were year numbers. So after a while, you finish with it. It's just not an infinite amount of tobacco.
It was a great stick.
Oh,
It was a great. I'm sorry, JJ. I didn't mean, but Rob, I told Rob that I would make sure that we talked about it briefly in regards to that stick, because he talks about it. I think he has 2 left. And I'm like, buddy, enjoy them. He's had a couple. I mean, it's a phenomenal smoke. My favorite word, as always, he's keeping it forever. He says.
No, Robert, smoke them. Enjoy, man. Life is short, my brother. Smoke them. Yeah.
Yeah, JJ. I'm sorry, brother. I didn't mean to interrupt.
And I have one last question for you. You're a very busy man. How do you balance life and work? What's your balance there?
Well, as I get older, I use my time more wisely, and there's 24 hours in the day. So I like to, I'll give you an average day for me. I get up very early in the morning. I like to box. So I have a trainer, and I box 3 days a week early in the morning. After I work out, after I box, I'm pouring in sweat. Then I lift weights. And the reason I do that is we get older, you need to build your bones, your tendons, and so on, and your muscles so you get stronger. And I work out. Then what I do is I shower and I go to work, and I work all day long. And I try to spend some time with my grandchildren after I get off work. Family's very important to me. I usually have dinner with my family at least 3 to 4 times a week. I'm blessed that my
Awesome.
son works for me. His wife and him live only 4 miles from the factory, so I get to see my granddaughter Lucy quite a bit. They also live very close, and we go to their home. My daughter, I'm blessed, she lives right next door in the next building from me, so I get to see my son-in-law and my daughter and my two other grandchildren. And then, like, for example, tomorrow I'm going to Orlando in the morning early, and I'm taking all the grandchildren and my son-in-law, my daughter-in-law, my son and my daughter, and my wife. We're all going to Disney World so they can see
Nice.
that for the weekends. And I'll be back Sunday, and then I go up to Central Florida and I do events because I still travel, but I love my job. I mean, it's a great thing, whether it's going to Nicaragua and the manufacturing. You're blessed when you really love what you're doing. And whatever job, I've only had 3 jobs in my life. I've always made the best out of them. I've always looked at the positive of what I did. I used to bag trash when I was a kid, and everybody hated it, and I didn't like it, but I made the best out of it. I'd say, you know what? People are happy when you take their trash out. They don't have no more trash in their front. So I always look at the glass half full, and I feel that I'm very blessed. But I really try to use my time wisely. And there's a lot of hours in the day, and I don't waste any time. If you can say, I don't sleep much. I sleep 5 to 6 hours a night, and that gives me 19 hours, 18 hours a day where I can do a lot of things. And you can do a lot of things in 18 hours, but if you sit around and watch TV all day long, well, the day goes slow and you don't really get much done. So I do a really good juggling act, balancing family, my life, my hobbies, my friendships. I mean, I've been blessed. I have a lot of friends that I've had since I was a kid that I still stay in touch with. And, I love to work. Donald Trump said something was really true. Retire, and you're gonna expire. And they've taught a lot of these people have taught us that work is a bad thing. I think work's a great thing. I think it's a good 4-letter word, not a bad one. And I just use my time wisely. But I'm very busy. I'm kind of like the Army commercial. I get things done a lot of times before 10 o'clock in the morning that most people don't do in a whole day. And I'm blessed that I can be able to do it. And I've been healthy. And I'm trying to stay healthy for my wife and for my family, for our workforce, and for my grandchildren and my children.
Cool.
Last but not least, thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. It was an honor and a privilege to be able to serve my country for 5 years. I worked under the greatest commander in chief ever. My president was Ronald Reagan in the 80s, and you couldn't work for a better man than that, who supported the military. You can imagine, when I got in the military, we had Jimmy Carter, and he had basically dilapidated us. When we were in boot camp, we didn't even have bullets for our rifles to shoot. It was so bad. Then we get Ronald Reagan, and he just fortified the military, and it was an unbelievable ride. And I really enjoyed it.
JJ's an Army vet as well.
Thank you for your service. You're younger than me, but when I first got in the service, it was so bad that you'd be in Norfolk, Virginia, and they'd say dogs and sailors keep off the grass. Now they tell you thank you for your service, which is an honor. Yeah. And it's a privilege. I think it was my dad's proudest day when I joined the military, because my dad was he was very proud to be an American. He came from Cuba, but he said, when I raised my hand in 1970 for this flag, if Cuba was boxing in the United States, I was pulling for the United States. I'm an American. And there's a lot of people that have come from other countries that honor this country and love this country a lot. In a lot of instances, unfortunately, more than some of these young kids that are born and bred here have no idea how blessed they are to be here.
Absolutely.
And that's the truth.
Yes, I love Virginia. I did my AIT in Fort Eustis, Virginia, and I loved it there. And
well, Norfolk wasn't a great place, that's for sure. But they have a nickname for the word Norfolk. I won't say it on the thing, but you guys can figure it out.
Well, again, Nick, thank you very much. I'm gonna pass the mic to PC.
Thank you.
Hey, once again, welcome to the podcast. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
We run into a lot of guys that want to start their own cigars and try to build their business, want to open up a lounge. So what advice do you have for those guys that's grasping at that dream of having a cigar or a lounge or something like that that want to get deep into the cigar industry and business and whatnot.
Well, like in any business, you got to be relentless and you got to say, I'm going for this. You just can't put your toes in the water. You got to jump in head first and you got to believe in yourself. If you can, you wrap yourself with a great wife who supports you or family. And a support team is really important too, but you gotta look forward and you can't look back. Look, the last 4 years were really tough with government regulation and overreach. I've always
Mhm.
said that the biggest competitor I've had was Joe Biden, and hopefully we're looking at something a lot different where we're going to be able to build a lot more entrepreneurship with lower taxes, lower regulation, and
Right.
we have a guy who's a former, who's a businessman who understands what it is to be an entrepreneur. And I think a lot of young guys out there, middle-aged guys or old guys who want to get in any business, whether it be the cigar business or anything, I think the
Right.
opportunity is coming in January, and I'm excited about it. And we're really excited about what's happening in the cigar industry. We were getting clubbed in the head the last 4 years with every regulation and just almost us being treated like we were child molesters, believe it or not, selling illegal products. So we're really, I think the cigar community is very excited right now what's going on. And for all the young entrepreneurs out there, I say dream big and don't let your dreams die. And if you're going to do something, if I could do it, I'm a high grad. Well, you certainly can do it. You just gotta be relentless. That's really the truth.
Right, right, and I appreciate you, because we get a lot of guys that reaches out, and stuff like that. I wanted to, kind of give back to them, and who better to do that than you. So,
Well,
and
thank you. And here's another thing too, Silverback. You got to be willing to put in the hours.
yeah,
It's not 9 to 5. It's my wife will tell you she was raising our son and I was putting in 6 in the morning to 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. Saturday was Monday, Sunday was Tuesday. If you need to have Saturday, Sunday off and Christmas Eve off and the day after Thanksgiving, don't do it because that's
right,
not the way it works. You know what I mean? And look,
right,
a lot of times I see other people's names on the back of a paycheck, and I understand there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're the type of guy who needs Thanksgiving off and you need Friday off again, and then you're going to call in sick Monday, you're never going to be cut for any business for that matter. You got to be willing to work and work it, and you got to put in a tremendous amount of effort. It's certainly not easy. Anybody who's built a business who's been semi-successful or very successful, I tip my hat off to them because I know the amount of effort, the stress, the lack of hours. I mean, the lack of good hours where they could enjoy life. It wasn't there. You know what I mean? It's tough.
right. And I know we touched on this before, and you could have probably, started a farm anywhere you wanted to, Dominican or other places, or gotten with, even teamed up with someone to buy their tobacco. What made you go to Nicaragua and set up shop there?
Well, during the early 90s, everybody was going to the Dominican Republic, and I have nothing against the Dominican Republic. I just wasn't a fan of the tobacco.
Right,
So my father left in August of 94 and went to a small little town called Esteli, Nicaragua. When I got there were only two functional cigar factories. There was a factory called Hoya, Nicaragua that was owned by different people that even own it today. And there was a factory called Knott's that was owned by Lou Rothman and his partnership. And that was it. Today there's about 80 factories in a 5 square mile circumference today. And we produced a lot of jobs, and we said to ourselves, boy, what an opportunity being here in Nicaragua. We like the tobacco, the grounds. My dad would always point to the grounds and say, that's why we're here. Because when I first got there were dirt roads. It would take you 7 hours to drive 85 miles. It was torturous. It was terrible. There was no running water. There was nothing. And I would say to my dad, what are we here for? And he would just always point down to the grounds. And he said, look at the opportunity you got. 85% unemployment. We're going to be able to produce jobs for people. We're going to be able to change people's lives. At the same token, it's not just about having a business, but one of the most beautiful things about business is being able to honor your workforce and being able to produce jobs. We're job producers is what we are. And we've helped out a lot. We probably feed over 20,000 people a day in Nicaragua between all the sundry items, children, fathers, mothers, and so on. And I'm equally as proud of that too. And let me tell you, our team, for example, in Nicaragua, very appreciative of everybody who's listening today, because my dad set a mindset out that all these people, all these consumers, all these retailers that buy our cigars, they're the reasons why we eat. And I'm very cognizant about that. I'm thankful for every one of you for that, because every one of you put food on my table. I certainly don't do you a favor making you great cigars. You're doing me a great favor by purchasing our cigars, and I can speak for the whole Perdomo team on that. So thank you guys.
No. We thank you for the work that you're doing, and we know you do a lot of humanitarian work there. So, I'm pretty sure the people will appreciate you, just as much as we appreciate you having you on here. But I gotta ask you this though. I know you get a chance. You've had a chance to smoke with your grandfather, your father, and your son. If anybody in the world, who would you smoke a cigar with that's outside of your family,
If I could, dead or alive,
dead or alive?
I would love to be able to smoke a cigar with Winston Churchill and Ronald Reagan, is who I would love to be able to smoke a cigar with, if I could be quite honest with you.
Right.
Yeah, that would be great. But if it was a family member and I could do it all over again, I'd love to sit in the backyard of my old house in Miami Lakes. I'd like to have my son, my father, and my grandfather and sit there. It would be a dream of mine if I could do something like that. I think that would be the most perfect evening in the world if I could do something like that. Maybe
No,
one day we'll be able to do it.
I think that's outstanding because my son is of age, and now we're sitting and we're enjoying cigars together, and we're having those adult conversations. We're bonding even more now than what we did when he was a little tight. But
It's a
that was
blessing.
pretty, it's heartwarming. It's
It
moving.
is.
Yeah,
It is.
but that's pretty much what I had for you, Nick. But I want to give it over to Cigar Dunn and let him take it away.
Yeah, I appreciate you, and echo everybody. Thank you for spending some time with us. It's special to me when you talk about your son, because I have the unique opportunity to work with my son as well. We work for the same company, and so we get to work together every day, and it's just so special. And he doesn't. I don't know. I hope your son realizes the gift that is, and as they get older, I'm sure they do. But it's just really a special thing to be able to do that. So I wanted to touch on the cigar that I'm smoking, the Garofalo La Familia. Can you touch a little bit about your relationship with Dave Garofalo and what that's meant to you over the years? And he shared a little bit about the cigar with us when he was on our podcast. But could you share a little bit about how this came about and your relationship with him?
Well, David Garofalo is one of the greatest, if not the greatest, cigar retailer in the world, bar none. He happens to be a very good friend of mine personally, and when he asked me the honor of making a cigar in his name, it was an incredible honor. And one of the great things I loved about it was how in touch he was and how involved he was on this cigar project we made. He cared so much because he's proud of his family and his heritage, of course. But even the bands, those bands are made by Vrydag in Holland, the most expensive bands in the world. He didn't leave one stone left unturned. I think the retail community owes him a lot. He was extremely helpful to retailers all over North America during the boom when they couldn't get cigars. And I think every cigar retailer in America should be carrying that cigar, to be quite honest with you. Not because and not say, well, he's a retailer, I'm not going to carry it. He's a guy who's been instrumental in the cigar industry. And I'm a big fan of Dave's, to be quite honest with you. And God, I wish we could clone him. We'd never be able to make enough cigars, that's for sure. But he's a guy who really cares about his customers. He's a guy that I have a weekly phone call to pick his brain. We talk a lot. I just wrote a book, and he actually did the foreword of my book. And I was really honored that he wrote the foreword for my book that's going to be coming out in the summer. So I have a tremendous amount of respect for him. That cigar is phenomenal. A little bit different
Amazing.
than most of the stuff. Yeah, you really taste the wrapper in that cigar. He didn't want the blend to be so powerful. He wanted to accent a lot of the flavor characteristics of the wrappers. He wanted a higher percentage of flavor to come from the wrapper than normally it does. Normally the wrapper will impart up to 10% of flavor, which is astronomical when you consider it's one thin leaf. Dave wanted something that would accent more of these wrappers because he was a big fan of them. We gave him our best, and He's done really well with it. It's a brand that should be national. It's that good, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's really special. How do you like it?
I love it. Uh, it's kind of right in my palate wheelhouse. You know, I love that this you know, a little bit of a sweet taste to it, a little bit of you know, it has a little bit of kick behind it. It's really really right in my, and it pairs phenomenal with this Basil Hayden, by the way.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
it's real harmonious, and when you pair any drink, whether it be a non-alcoholic drink like coffee or a fine bourbon like you're drinking, I call it the ping pong effect. I don't want either one to overpower each other, so you can enjoy your bourbon and you can enjoy your cigar. And the Garofalo really hits that gamut, no matter whether you drink espresso, coffee, or cast strength whiskeys. It really works good.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So one of the things I wanted to touch on, and you said it earlier, and it really rings home to me because I'm in a customer service type business. I'm an insurance adjuster, so I'm in a really customer service forward industry. And you said perfection is gold, but excellence is merely tolerated. Um, and I really that really touched me because I spend a lot of time talking to the people who work for me about, you know, the customer is not an interruption to your day. It's the reason for it. And so, can you talk a little bit about your philosophy about that, with, you know, from seed to ash, you know, kind of thing, with the your quality and your, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, what I wanted to impart in 1999 when I became vertically integrated is I wanted to do the best that we could possibly do with the help of God to produce everything at its best, whether it was milling the finest cedar for our boxes to producing the best seed for germination. We really left no stone unturned, and I was extremely anal and passionate about it. People thought I was crazy, but I was really relentless about it. And I just thought, what would I want? You know what I mean? And I'm very picky. If I buy a shirt and it works, I'm buying that shirt again, whether it be a pair of shoes. And I wanted the consistency to be so good. And I looked at everything. I have a spiral notebook, and I'd be writing notes at night, every night in my kitchen in Esteli. And I just wanted the best for every single, I just didn't want to leave any stone left unturned. Seed varieties, proper curing. We lined all our curing houses with visqueen like you would just use for wrappers. My fillers are grown like you grow wrappers. The reason we do that, it's like a pendulum. If you have the pendulum all the way to the right where you have the gas on the foot pedal and you got it on, you're going to run that engine to where you need it to run. And you don't want to take the foot off the gas. And I really believe that our consumers and our retailers are deserving that. All I care about right now is that I want my consumers to be confident and enjoy our brands and say, I never had a bad Perdomo. That's music to my ears. And I want my retailers to say, I can go to any wall at Perdomo, regardless where we sell the cigars in the world, and that they're confident in selling the brand. And that's what we want, because all of us have had deals with inconsistent draw. So a draw is a big problem. So what do? I don't test 10% of my draw. I draw test 100% of my products. So how do you do that? Well, I actually pay people with dollies so the rollers don't get interrupted. They get 20 to 30 press molds, and every 10 they press, an operator will go in there and pick up their press molds so they can keep working and making money. And they're getting all their cigars draw tested. You know what I mean? To me, if a cigar doesn't draw, it shouldn't be put in a box. And when you buy 25 cigars, you should be able to smoke 25. You shouldn't say, well, it's a handmade product, so 3 of them didn't draw. It's not a big deal. It is a big deal.
Yeah.
It should be as perfect as possible. You paid a lot of money for those cigars, and I'm really cognizant of that, and so is our team.
Nice. So I heard you on another podcast talk about your when you first started out, and it really touched me, your East Coast tour, when you were kind of down on your luck a little bit. And can you talk a little bit about that and share with our listeners that tour that you made on the East Coast, and how it kind of shaped what you do now?
Yeah, I mean, look, everybody who starts business struggles, you know what I mean? And there were times where I didn't have money for food, and I would eat at my dad's house. But all my workers got paid. And there were times where I had a lot of cigars on Flagler Street in Tampa, and I went on the road, and I said, I'm gonna sell these cigars. And you know, my wife, you know, handled the battle at home, and I went out and and I worked, and I was washing my underwear in sinks at Motel 6s and staying in the worst places, finding the local buffet so I could gorge myself, so I could eat once a day, so I could get out there, going into phone books at phone booths, trying to find cigar stores and getting kicked in the face because nobody knew who I was. But there's an old saying that if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. And there's no secret to this. I mean, a lot of people in business have done this. And I worked my ass off and sold a lot of cigars to be able to save my company in the early 90s because it was tough. I didn't get much help, I can tell you that. I mean, outside of my family, a lot of my competitors that were making more cigars in 5 minutes than I was making a year were trying to impede my business as best they can. And one of the things I did, and I think it's because of my faith, I didn't do that. I get young guys all the time asking me for help, and I do it. I was just recently in Nicaragua, and a young gentleman called me up and said, I'm a big fan of your cigars. I'm a cigar manufacturer. Just started. Would you come to my factory and tell me what I'm doing wrong? And me and Nelson Cuba went over there, and we spent 3 hours showing him what he was doing wrong. I wish I would have had that help when I first started, because when I first started out in my garage, my dad was retired. I didn't get the help in the beginning. And then my father was very influential and very instrumental in helping me. But, I just think good things happen to those who do good things back to people. And my wife always talks about the golden rule: do to others as you would want to do. And that's been my mantra. I think God's blessed our company for that. And it was a lot of work. It was mind-boggling how much stuff I had to do. And there were no days off. I just worked nonstop, and it wasn't easy, but thank God I did it. I was young. And I was blessed with that youth that I could just keep running so many hours and keep working. Even to this day, I'm going to be 60. I still do a lot of events. I still love to meet my consumers all around the country. I still love it. To me, it's a joy. A lot of my competitors go, I don't know how you do all those events and how you go out to all those stores. And I go, well, I got to be honest with you. I love it. Everybody's happy to see you. Nobody's sad to see you. People make a lot of effort to come out to your events. They travel from far and abroad. A lot of people, skip family functions to come to your events. A lot of people here tonight could be with their families or listening to me and you guys. To me, I'm honored about that. To me, it's very touching, and I'm humbled by it, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, the one thing that touched me was you talked about the collect phone call you made to your wife, that when you met your goal, and she just kind of said, we made it, you did it, and that kind of, I have a very strong wife, and would, absolutely do the same thing for me. I if I was to do that. So that kind of touched me to that we did it together. You held down the home front, I got out here, and we did it, because that really touched me.
Yeah, my wife could have complained, you're never home, you're out. I wasn't at the bar drinking. I was working, trying to make a living to raise a family. And my wife was she understood it, where a lot of women in some cases don't. Behind every good man's a great woman, right? So I got that support. And my wife's sitting here next to me. Maybe I'll get lucky tonight. But, at 36 years I've been married. It'll be 36 years. So, but in all honesty, she was definitely a conduit and very important in my life and very helpful, and still working in the business. She's in the office every day, and she doesn't have to be. I tell people all the time, what woman doesn't have to be working? It's my wife. So I'm very appreciative of it. And metal. Anytime I'm in the Midwest, I'd love to autograph a box for you and hang out with you. It'd be my pleasure. But I can't. I have to wear my glasses because I'm old. I can't see when the guys are right across the board. But I saw that neat metal a couple times, so I said, let me look at.
I just get a kick out of that. Nick is trying to get brownie points right now. I love it.
I am a man, and you got to be.
Listen, man,
right?
we're right now on Team Nick. Let me tell you.
But those collect calls, I couldn't afford the long distance calls back in those days. I mean, I was living hand to mouth. I remember going to my first RTDA show in Cincinnati, and I had an American Express card I got when I was in the Navy, and from 1985 I've had that card, and I used it to buy tickets to Cincinnati and stay at the Embassy Suites because I knew they had a breakfast bar there that was free. And I
Right.
worked at trade show and I had no money. I had a Polaroid picture of a small facility I had on Flagler Street and I winged it. And you got to start somewhere. My starts were humbling, but I'm proud of them because it made me stronger. I built the business, and I wasn't given a business by my dad or anything like that. I had to build it, and it's one of the things I instilled in my son. My son's wanted to be in the cigar business since he was 6, but so we worked him in Nicaragua, and he had to learn. He had to walk the walk before you talk the talk. And people who met my son will tell you he's very noble, and he's very well versed and educated in the cigar industry. I'd put his knowledge in front of a lot of people that are twice his age today because he's been in the grind, and I wanted him to be in that grind because I never wanted anybody to say that's Nick's son. He blazed his own path, and I can say that for all my workforce. Every one of those guys that work for me, they've earned everything they've gotten. They've busted their asses. They've worked hard. My salesmen are extremely professional. They're out there working, they're knocking on the doors, they're talking to consumers, they're talking to retailers, and it's a tough job too, and they do a really good job. But I think I lead from the front too. They know I've done everything they've done, and I think I've handed them a really good gig. You know what I mean? I wish I had the cigars when I was selling them that were like they are today and everything. So, but they do a great job, and I'm really proud of my sales team, proud of all my guys in Miami, and I'm really proud of my guys in Nicaragua. My head of operations, Nelson Cuba, he basically runs all the operations in Nicaragua. Him and I have been friends since we were 12 years old. He was a police officer for 25 years, retired, and asked me to come work for me. You want to talk about a hard hire? This guy's like my brother. I told him, you can't tell me to go screw myself in front of the workers. You gotta respect me. I'm the company, right? And he's been a consummate professional now. He's been with me for 11 years, and he's the bad cop, but he's got the tough job. And you look at a guy like Arthur Kemper, my vice president, been with me for 25 years, started from the bottom, and I just saw something in him. And one of the things I'm really proud of my company, I never hire consultants or never hire people from other industries. I like to build my people from within. Miguel Rivera, who's the general manager of one of the biggest cigar factories in the world, started with me in packaging, and today he runs one of the largest cigar factories in the world today. And I built him up. We had a guy who cleaned floors for me, and I saw something in him, and I asked him. I said, "Do you read and write?" He said, "Yeah, I went to high school." I said, "How about if I send you to agronomy school? Would you like to work on one of the farms?" Today he runs one of our largest farms. So I'm a big believer that you can stretch people. I'm a big believer that you can train people, and I'm a big believer you can make people better. And it's under the leadership that you have to make people, but you have to instill them not only a little bit of confidence, but also a belief in themselves. Because I believe people can do a lot more than what they really think. And I've been successful. Everybody that's ever grown in my company has always grown from within my company, and I'm equally proud of that too.
Absolutely.
Well, I'll say this, I hate to step on your toes, Don, but
Nope.
that's a testament to you. You got people to see your vision and buy into it. That's huge. A lot of people don't have that ability to get people to see their vision and move forward with that, and want to not, and push that vision because they have a vision that they want to include with your vision. So that's huge.
Yeah. So
somebody, the gentleman Metal and the Neanderthal, he brought up a great point. One of the things I'm really proud about, and someone asked me always, what's my favorite size? I love our torpedoes. Sarah Gonzalez, who's been our factory manager for years, always did the Monte Cristo too. She worked at H. Upman for 30 years and has been with me, believe it or not, for 34 years. She's 84 or 32 years. She's 84 years old.
Wow.
Just left Nicaragua with us last week, and she's the one who really brought the torpedo to America. Everybody used to make them; they look like little trumpets. I didn't like them, and ours look like artillery shells. And that's one of the cigars that I really love. So you guys out there, if you get a chance to smoke a Perdomo torpedo, one, their draw test, they draw perfect, so don't worry about other torpedoes. That's a great one there, and it's just such an elegant shape, and the guys and the gals who work for us and make the torpedo just do a wonderful job.
Nice. So before we go, so guys, those of you that are watching, we're gonna do a giveaway right now, and basically the giveaway that we're gonna do 5 giveaways. and it's going to be because not these sticks are not sold in every retail store. They're basically at what 75 retail stores around. Nick, the
Yeah,
30.
the ones you have there are less than 110 retail stores in general, which is really less than 1% of our total stores that carry our brands in North America. Yes.
So there you go. So guys, we're gonna be giving away 5, 2, 30 anniversaries, one Maduro, one Connecticut. The rule is you got to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to us, help us out to grow our channel, guys. But also, I just saw that Keeb's on here. So Tom Fuller, Nick, is a huge fan of yours. Absolutely huge. So if you could just give him a quick shout out, because if not, I will never hear the end of Keeb.
Is that my friend? Is that my friend Tom Fuller, who's got a 20th anniversary in his humidor?
That's
Yeah,
him.
that's
Hey
him.
Tom, how are you? Where's Tom live?
He
He's in
lives in
Georgia
South
now. He used to
Florida.
live in Fort
I
Lauderdale.
mean,
He
South
just
Georgia,
recently
yeah.
moved to Georgia.
Okay.
He is a huge Nick, and when I mean huge Nick Perdomo. So this man, okay, so this is how crazy this man is, Nick. Just to give you an idea.
He's not crazy. He's a
No,
good
no, no,
guy.
no. Listen, no. When you hear what I'm about to say, you can understand.
Okay.
He is willing for a box of cigars, because he told me to ask for a box of cigars. The man is willing to tattoo your brand, your mark on his body for a box of cigars. He's like, I will. But he gives me a box of cigars, I will tattoo Perdomo on my whatever arm he wants. So that's why I say we love the guy. He is hilarious, and like I say, he's a big fan of ours, good friend of ours as well. You know,
How about if I told Tom and you that we have probably over 100 people have Perdomo tattoos and have told me I'll tattoo it. I'll tell you what, Tom, if you put a Perdomo tattoo on your arm, I'll pay for it. How about that?
Wow.
There you go, Tom. There you go, buddy. There you go. There you go, Tom. Don't ever say the panda didn't never do anything for you.
Yeah.
So, guys, like I said, hit the subscribe button. Let's do this first giveaway, guys, for the 30th anniversary. Like I said, I know not everyone could get them, so here you go. Let's go. Who's gonna be the first one?
Ooh, I'm gonna hit that button. You guys
Hit
ready?
it. Hit it.
I love the graphics.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, who is it? Bob.
All right.
Bob, are you still here, buddy? You got to be here. Is he
He's
still
here.
here?
I just saw him right.
Yeah, so he's been pretty active in the chat.
All right. So, Bob, listen, this is what I need you to do. I need you to message me or one of us, whether Instagram or TikTok, whatever. Send us your address, and you'll have that sent your way. Let's do another one.
Yes, sir.
Let's go. Second one. Who's going to be the second one? Look who it is. Look who it is, Rob.
Robert.
There you go, Rob. There you go. So what I'm going to do also, guys, we just came out with our shirts. There's one of them. The guys that got the Leaf and Ash podcast, guys. Okay. So we're gonna be giving away 3 of these shirts. We have them in blue, red, gray, white, and black. All I'm gonna need is your size. So we're gonna do that right now. Go ahead for the shirt.
Okay, here we go.
Let's do that for the shirt, for the first shirt. Black South. So, all right, that's good enough. We got, like I said, we have 3 more, actually 4 more, because the last set of the. So if you guys stick around, the very last set that we're gonna give, guys. Put me on the big screen there, JJ. Or move us back over again. So guys, we're gonna do a 10, a 20. Oh, let me move them around. 10, 20, and 30. That's gonna be the last giveaway. So you guys got to stick around to the very end. But make sure you guys send me info. Black South, I already got your information. So Nick, Black South is one of our biggest supporters. I mean, one of our biggest supporters. Even with the promo that he did, knowing that you were coming on, this man has done a phenomenal job with this stuff, and we greatly, greatly appreciate Black South. We already got something in the works for you down the road, but we'll talk about that later. So, Rob, I already got your address. So Bob, make sure that you message me so I can definitely get your information. But so some more questions if you have some time still, Nick.
Sure.
Okay, I kind of want to bring you back into time, right? So we all know, those of us that have been around in the industry for a while, 2000 between 2012 and 2014 was a very scary time period for the cigar industry.
Hmm.
Okay, how did the Perdomo company actually was able to get over that hump during that period? Because as we all know, and those who don't know, if you could get into what was going on between 2012 and 2014 with the government trying to get themselves involved in the industry. How did you
Well,
guys get there?
the scariest time was actually 2009 when Barack Obama hit us with the S-chip tax. That was the worst year. Imports went from 4.2 cents to 40.2 cents. So a million cigars went from $40,200 to $400,200. That was the most decimating time in the industry. And what we did something a little bit different. Everybody passed the tax on, so cigars went up about $1 a stick on average in 2009, which was a lot of money, especially back then, right? So
Hmm.
I sat down with Arthur at the time, our vice president, and he came up with some ideas I thought were very interesting. And what we did is we decided that we would absorb the S-chip tax 100%. Our accounting firm went nuts and said I was out of my mind. And I said, well, you guys always say I'm out of my mind, but I said the truth of the matter is we've been good stewards of our money. We have no debt, and these other guys have a lot of bank financing and so on, so they have to pass it on to the consumer, and I get it, but I want to do something different. I think in reality, market share is more important than gross margin at the time, and they looked at me. I had to grow my business almost 50% to break even. And 2009 was a terrible year when S-chip. It was the second year after 2024 where the industry really took a tank, and because a lot of it had to do with the taxes. The cigars got really expensive for most people. So I took the most two popular lines in 2009 at the time, which was Perdomo Reserve Champagne and Perdomo Lot 23, and I actually dropped the prices down to 2005 levels. And then my accountants really thought I was out of my mind. Well, what happened when we did that? And it was one thing that Barack Obama did good was he had the border good. It was about the only thing I can tell you did good, but he had that border shut down really good. And I said we're going to be able to prosper by this because we're going to make more cigars because our consumers and our retailers are going to appreciate what we've done. So we came out with a campaign called S-chip Busters. And to make a long story short, we're in 2024, 15 years later, we still have absorbed the S-chip tax at 100%. So that's why our prices are considerably lower than everybody else's. Sometimes that hurts us because a lot of people think you got to spend $20 to get a great cigar. We've proved that that's not true. We consistently get the highest scores, highest ratings. We've won 19 out of 23 cigar trophies in Cigar Journal, which is pretty good. I've won 97% of them, and I think our consumers appreciate our brand's expanded in all the humidors across the world, and people were very appreciative, and we've made a great cigar at a very affordable price. And my most expensive cigar is the 30th Torpedo that Silverback's smoking right now, and that's $14.75. That's my most expensive cigar today. That's
awesome.
about an average price point today. Guys are coming out with new cigars and everybody's selling them for 20, 30, 40. I've seen these prices. There's cigars coming out now for $300 a cigar. I mean, it's nuts. And I'm proud of that. But I'm also proud that our company's debt free and we've been good stewards of our money, and we pass those savings on to our consumers by our hard work. And that's something that I think our whole team is very happy and proud about, to be quite honest with you. But 2009 was a terrible year. And then we started getting, because of that, the government started encroaching and getting into our business and regulating. And then we had to start, so I'm on the board of Cigar Association of America. Then we had the Cigar Rights of America. And it's been a battle because I used to always concentrate on making cigars. Now we have to concentrate on Washington. And the good news is I think we're having a turnaround. I think with the new Congress and Senate being more conservative, I think they're going to leave us alone And look, all I want to be is left alone. I sell a legal product that produces a lot of enjoyment to people. I make an honest day living. A lot of families live off the cigar industry, whether they be cigar retailers or cigar manufacturers. You know, when you go into stores, a lot of these are family-run businesses. And I think the federal government needs to get the hell out of the way and let us work and let you guys enjoy the products, because you're not doing anything wrong. So we're excited about it. We think that 2025 is going to be a refreshing start for us. And listen, my family came from communism for me to have the right to speak, and people can have different opinions, and I respect all of them, but you should respect ours too. And being in business, and I feel really, really good about what's happening and what's going to happen with the country. I wasn't really happy the last 4 years. I don't think anybody was.
Yeah, live and let live.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
and the thing, I think the worst part, because they did a lot of dirty things for the tobacco or the cigar industry, right? Because they were trying to compare it to those, those Philly blunts and the cigarettes and all, and it's like, I don't even know how you could even compare. The cigar, the tobacco, it's all natural. The way it's grown, the way there's no chemicals in the sense of what, like a cigarette. How many chemicals does a cigarette have?
Thousands.
Thousands, right? And the reality, and what blows my mind is that you have more. And a previous guest, he made a valid point. How many people do you know got in DUI smoking a cigarette? Or rather, excuse me, a cigar, right? But alcohol
I've
still
been in
legal.
the cigar industry for 33 years. I've never met one person who's gotten lung cancer, throat cancer, and mouth cancer from a cigar ever.
Me neither.
Not one.
Me neither.
Cigarettes all
me.
through the roof, but not cigars. It's a great subject that you brought up. It's like mushrooms. You have edible mushrooms that you can eat, and you have poisonous mushrooms. You don't lump them all together. And this is the problem. They tried to lump us all together. When the FDA came in and started attacking us, I got an ingredient sheet. We had to start writing all these ingredients, and they sent me a book. It was like the size of an encyclopedia, and I wrote distilled water, fruit pectin. That's how we seal the cigars. It's called Tangrit. It's actual fruit that's kind of like you bored out of a maple tree, and it's flavorless and odorless. And basically air-cured tobacco. We make a compost or a pilong or a pile of tobacco, and under pressure, that tobacco biochemically starts fermenting and so on. It's natural. And that's what I wrote. So the FDA called me up and said, well, where's all the chemicals? Acetone. I can go on and on and on like cigarettes have. And I said, cigars are a natural product. We don't do any of that stuff. And then the guy said, well, I thought cigars were like cigarettes. And I said, well, that's why you work for the FDA, right? So that's a big problem. You know what I mean? So like I said earlier, I hope we get left alone. I hope every one of us can enjoy cigars, because I think cigars give you life. I think they drop your blood pressure. I think they take away your stress. I can tell you the thousands of letters I've received from people who've had PTSD. I just had a gentleman. I was at Brian's place in Arkansas. He's listening to the show right now. This guy was a Marine veteran. He wanted to kill himself, and a guy gave him a cigar in Iraq. And he said, I remember looking at the smoke, it billowed away, and my stress went out. It was a Perdomo Reserve champagne. He's a big Perdomo smoker. Came to one of my events. This was about a year and a half ago, and it brought tears to my eyes. He said, what you do saved my life. And he goes, let me introduce you to my wife. And he said, I smoke 4 or 5 cigars a day. I don't want to kill myself anymore. I'm happy. We have a great marriage. I had a really bad marriage. I was ready to commit suicide. And I've had a lot of letters like this, with guys, and whether it be drugs or depression or so on. I've never met a real bad cigar smoker in my life, and I've never sat in a lounge where people weren't just vegging out and enjoying their lives and enjoying cigars. So to me, it's like the edible mushrooms and the poisonous mushrooms. And don't lump us all together, especially government bureaucrats who've never held a job or built a business in their life, or ever even smoked a cigar. Most of these guys are a bunch of potheads who are telling you these guys were from the 60s who were anti-American and hated our country, now that are telling us what we should do, and now are running the military. It's scary now.
And not only that, on top of that, the ridiculous fee for all new products that were going to be, this is, like I said, a lot of people, I like to consider myself somewhat of a historian in regards to because I really got it there. I've been smoking for roughly 30 years now. And, if you don't know, I'm sure, I don't know, Billy, but I'm in law enforcement. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And, I got 26 years on. And I can honestly tell you, this is what I do every day to decompress from my day. I've had some really scary, close encounters, from being stabbed, from being shot at. I've had some really, really close. And I always end up with a stick in my mouth to just kind of decompress. My kids have never seen me without a cigar in my mouth because that's the way I truly decompress, and I go to my lounge every day practically, and I smoke 4 or 5 sticks a day. That's who I am. And at the end of the evening, and my kids know after dinner, I'll spend a little bit more time after dinner. And the wife would be like, "Are you ready to smoke your cigar now?" Because she already knows my routine, And I'm very grateful, for people like yourself that's taken the time and the longevity on top of that. You know what I mean? Because it's a lot of dedication. Because a lot of people don't understand the dedication and the sacrifice that you had to do, and that you explained earlier. That there is something that you have to sacrifice, right, in order for you to get what you want. And that's something that I've instilled in my kids. If you want something bad enough, what are you willing to sacrifice, even if it's for a short period of time, to get what you want? And in your case, in the sense, you know what? I can't do some birthdays right now. I can't do the holidays right now because I'm looking at the bigger picture for our family as a whole. Because what you're doing is, and what you've done is you've become, you have done generational now, right? Because now you have grandkids, and hope, the Perdomo legacy continues, right? Because that's what you started, And I tip my hat off to you, Nick. I greatly appreciate it, man. Trust me, it means a lot that you came here to speak with us, man. But when is your birthday? When is your birthday?
February 4th.
So, I got to write that down. Hold on.
I'm an Aquarius.
An Aquarius. Okay. My birthday's in May. I turned 50 in May.
I got underwear older than you.
Listen, you got underwear older than me. Then can you imagine? JJ's the youngest. He's the baby of the group. JJ, how old are you, JJ?
I'll be 36 January 14th.
36.
Oh, jeez.
Exactly.
That was my grandfather's birthday.
Oh, look at that.
My grandfather Silvio's birthday. That's a good day.
Mm-hmm.
So when you mentioned the phone book, I'm sure JJ was like, "What's a phone book?" You know what I mean?
Seen them.
Yeah, you've seen them. You heard about them. You heard about it.
Yeah.
We used phone booths back then, JJ. That's how I try to call.
That's where the term "I'll drop a dime on you," right? I'll drop a dime on you. Drop a dime on the make a phone call.
Tom's birthday was yesterday. Well, happy late birthday, Tom.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
But
birthday.
What? By the way, you say your book is coming out. When is it coming out?
It should come out in the summer. I had a guy named Nick Hammond. He's a writer out of London, helped me write the book. I've had people ask me to write books for years, and I always tell people it's nothing special starting a business out of a garage. A lot of people did it. And I met a priest in Naples, Florida, an older guy, and he said, "The reason you write the book, you should write a book." And I said, "Father," everybody asked me, and he said, "The reason you write a book, it's for your grandchildren, so they don't screw it up, because they didn't see all the effort and sacrifice and so on that you had to do, and what your wife had to do, and your family and so on. And you should write a book, and you can help other people with that book. You can help young entrepreneurs and figure out people that are older that want to get into business, kind of like, what Silverback said, whether you want to open a cigar lounge or any business. And I try to teach people, and I talk about my life. I did a lot in my life, and I think people will find it really interesting. And
can you share the name?
It was a lot of work. Yeah, it's going to be called, I think we're going to call it the Perdomo Way. Being relentless is what I think it's going to be. Or relentless, the Perdomo Way, my wife likes better, and I think it probably sounds better. But there was a lot of work. I've been writing it for almost 2 years, and wow. I've worked. I'm right now. I have a Christian writer who's been helping me also. She's written 5 books, and we're getting it all into segments. I've had several people read it, and they said they've been blown away by the book. It's super interesting. It's all the trials and tribulations that my father went through when he came from Cuba, and how I grew up. I grew up very poor and meager, but with a loved family. You know what I mean? we didn't have much money, but we were wealthy and, with love. And that was, and Tom's right. It's an inspiring book, I think, to a lot of people. And it teaches people they can do anything they want if they put their head to it. And I'm excited about it. And eventually I'll do it in audio, but because a lot of people don't read anymore. But I'm hoping people can pick up the book and read it. I think they'll really enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm old school that way. I need that book in my hand. Like, what are those Kindle books or whatever, the digital books? I could never get into those. I need that hardcover or the soft cover. I need that book in my hand. So let's we have what, 4 more giveaways, actually 5. JJ, let's see who's gonna be the next cigar. Guys, once again, it's gonna be for Maduro and Connecticut 30th anniversary Robustos. Let's see who's next.
Here we go.
Here we go. Round and round we go. Where it starts, we don't know. No way. No way.
Congratulations, Tom.
Keepster. I mean, come on now.
Now you don't have to worry about Robert sharing.
That's right. So there you go, Keeb. I don't need you to send me your address. I got your address just to say. All right, go ahead. Do another one, JJ.
Here we go. Brian Waters.
Brian.
All right.
Let's go, Brian.
Brian, make sure that you send me your address or one of us your address so I can ship that to you guys. All right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, this is gonna be for a shirt. Go ahead, go for it. I'm gonna need let you know. I'm gonna need you to know the color and the size. Who is it? It was right smack in the middle. Who's it giving it to?
Alex
Martin. All right.
Alex Martin. Alex, make sure you message me, like I said, so that like I said, I got red, blue, white. I actually got a green also, like a military green, which is really nice. I got 2 shades of blue. This is one of the blues. The other one's like a baby blue. Let me know when you message me what size and what color you want, and I'll ship that to you guys. Let's see what we got. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, you know what? Hold on. I got to get this right. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 1 more shirt and then two more cigars, because I know Nick needs to go because he told us, we gave us a time frame. I want to stick to the time frame. So go ahead, run it.
All right.
Mark.
Everybody's a winner tonight. That's good.
Everybody's a winner.
That's right. Mark, make sure you do the same thing for the shirt. Let me know what color and size. And I got 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, do the cigars now.
I got a little bit of a late entry.
Okay.
But all the same, welcome.
Well, 2-pack 30th anniversary. Who's getting it? Who's getting it? Right smack up. Who's that? Moxie, AZ Moxie. All right. Once again, you'll be getting the cigars. Send me your address. And last but not least, this is going to be for the 3-pack, the 10, the 20, and the 30th anniversary. Who is it? Who's going to be? Who's it going to be?
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Oh, let's see who's going to get it. Who's going to get it? Oh, Metal. You almost had it. Was it Metal? No. Davis Lacey. Congratulations, guys. So, like I said, make sure you guys message me, send me your address. We greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate your time. All right, there we go. Well, Nick, we greatly, truly appreciate this time of sharing, because we know how busy you are. Now it's getting close to the holidays and stuff like that, man. We really, truly appreciate this time that you've given us. We've all enjoyed our stick. I know I enjoy the heck out of this stick. For those who I highly doubt don't know, I don't know if you're willing or not willing, but let everyone know where can they find Nick Perdomo Cigars. What type of social media pages you guys have?
We have our own page. We have our own informational page. It's www.perdomocigars.com. We have a YouTube channel. It's very educational. If you want to know about how to cut and light a cigar all the way to growing tobacco, we have a great page with a lot of information for the cigar lover. And really, thank you guys for having me, and thanks for everybody that was out there listening tonight. And my wife had put out a post and saying, "Hey, look, this is a new podcast. It's been out recently, and Peter's a law enforcement guy, and anytime I can help anybody in law enforcement and all young guys who smoke cigars, because all you guys are young, and it's great that you guys are doing it. We need to do more of these things in the cigar community, to be quite honest with you, So it's really nice." And Bob Putnam just said something that's the truth. I want to wish everybody out there a Merry Christmas. We're back in America. It's not Happy Holidays. It's Merry Christmas to everybody.
That's right.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and God bless every one of you. And thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Hey, absolutely.
Thank you,
Nick,
sir.
I definitely wanted to take a tour at the factory because I'm here. As you know, I'm in Florida, so I would love to get with you.
Well, you guys should come down in January or February. It's a piece of cake to come down there.
Well, these guys are coming down in March. They're coming down in March for the Great Smoke. I'll get with you. I don't know if you're going to be in town in March. You know what I mean?
I'll be at the Great Smoke in March. Yeah.
Okay. So
I'm actually flying back the day before from Nicaragua, because we have tours, but the March tours are for our European distribution teams and retailers in March. So all February and all through January will be the United States, and March will be Europe.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Guys, once again, if you like what you saw, please subscribe to the channel, share it, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, hit that all notification bell. By all means, when we post something, when we're lucky enough to have people like Nick Perdomo come on, you guys be notified, and you definitely catch us on our social media pages. JJ, where can they find us?
Oh, they can find us on Spotify, Podbean, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and of course, YouTube.
There you go, guys. So once again, guys, we appreciate your time, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you, guys. God bless everybody. Take care.
God bless.
Thank you.